Hello, wonderful people. I hope you've had a cracking week, a busy week like I have. If you're just starting your Friday, try and end it on a high. It's one of the great things about doing this on Fridays. I can kind of finish and relax after I've done this. I kind of doing them every 2 weeks, but then I'm practicing, going through my lines, making sure it's all going to work. And then I'll do a couple of tests on the day just to make sure that everything looks as it should, and then obviously deliver it. So there's a lot of effort that goes into this 20-minute live, and I've been very lucky. I don't know how many I've done now, 14, 15 of these, and not had many technical issues. If there has been an issue, it's been my fault. So I'm just waiting for LinkedIn to tell me I'm live, and it has told me that, which is brilliant. Okay, if you see me looking this way whilst I'm talking, it's just I'm looking at my notes and ensuring I don't miss anything. If this is your first time here, please do tell me in the comments where in the world you are. It's always fascinating to see where people are coming from. What I've really noticed recently in the conversational AI world is it used to be kind of clumps. It used to be obviously the US, North America, and then it used to be a lot in the Netherlands. There's a lot going on in conversational AI in the Netherlands. And then UK, and then splatterings around Europe, a bit of Italy as well. But I'm noticing now a big push in kind of the South Americas, Brazil, Argentina, those areas. And lots of people are actually dropping in now who previously haven't been in conversational AI. And I think potentially ChatGPT is to thank for that. So thank you, ChatGPT. So apparently got some comments. Harvey Castro, love the name. First time here, Dallas, Texas. I'm the author of ChatGPT and Healthcare. Oh, drop the link in. I'd like to see that if I could. Big fan of ChatGPT. It's interesting though, for as good as ChatGPT is, and don't get me wrong, I use it every day. For different projects, even writing video scripts. One thing I found really useful is taking blog posts and then asking ChatGPT to turn it into a video script, which works beautifully. You still got to tweak it, but it gets the job done. Yeah, so send that across. That'd be lovely. But yeah, for ChatGPT, you know, it had that big rush of people using it. I'm sure it's died off a little bit. But yeah, I'm trying to read as much information as possible and see how to use it. And interestingly, thank you. It's on Amazon. I will check that out afterwards. Thank you, Harvey. I really appreciate it. Yeah, one of the things I like about Juji is it does some things that you just can't do with ChatGPT. ChatGPT can, yes, you can have a very brief backwards and turn conversation, but you can't have that kind of multi-turn conversation where the chatbot is actually, where ChatGPT is actually driving the conversation to get to the answer. But that's something that Juji does very well. That link's got all of your books. Interesting. I'll check them out. Thanks. I really appreciate it. If you want to make some sales in here, if you've got a discount code or anything, just pop it in. That'd be lovely. Yeah, so one of the things I like about Juji is that you're able to have those conversations. So the chatbot can drill down, ask you further questions to get you to an answer, which is something we're going to discuss today as it happens. And also, the Juji team have done a lot of work integrating into generative AI, ChatGPT, to help you develop and deploy quicker. And the differences are phenomenal. And please don't underestimate this. I've not played with any other platforms since the release of ChatGPT, so I don't know how they're approaching it. But the way Juji are doing it is well thought out. It's practical. It makes so much easier, you know, whether it's creating Q&As or creating dialogue or applying a persona to your chatbot. All these different ways. I think there's 6 ways I've found now within Juji where generative AI helps speed up the development and deployment option. So I'm going to look at my notes now. Let's get into it because I don't want to be on for more than 20 minutes, really. And we're already, how many minutes are we in? I can't tell. Oh, there we go, 4 minutes 43. So we'll just get on with it. So the title here is Address Hard Questions During and After Student Onboarding. But it could be addressing hard questions for any business. You know, that all of us are working conversational and get frustrated with what we would referred to as dumb bots. Effectively, they've just got 100, 200 FAQs, and that is really all it can do. Juji is far beyond that, far beyond that. Okay, so let's dive in. So I'm going to read my notes here, and then we'll actually dive into the platform. So when onboarding a new student for a program or course, the student might have various questions about the program or course, such as the syllabus and the path to complete the program during and after onboarding. What I'm going to show you today is how an onboarding chatbot, how to teach an onboarding chatbot, how to answer students' questions based on onboarding materials. And in this example, that material is actually going to be a PDF, but it can obviously use other sources. And it uses the PDF and then leverages GPT, which is fantastic. Since it's highly likely that a student will ask questions in context, it's not possible to anticipate all student questions and pre-train them, especially the questions that will be asked in a context. So I will show you how to enable zero-shot, context-sensitive Q&A based on proprietary information without any coding, and that's the important bit. Juji is truly a no-code platform. So, for example, the student might ask, give me an overview of course whatever, or what's covered in week 1? What about week 4? Those kind of contextual questions. So let's flick across. So, give me 1 second so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. So if you've not seen Juji before, this is where you start. Let me just check I'm in the right one. I need to be on the staging one. Bear with me. I need to make sure I'm on the right one. Otherwise, this won't work. It's a very, very new feature. There we go. Staging.juji. There we go. I'm on the right one. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose a chatbot template, and then I'm going to show you how we auto-generate these Q&As. So click to add a new chatbot. We're going to choose website. We're going to use a template. And we want this one here. Let me just zoom in for you. Learning assistant onboarding. If we wanted to, I could click this. Oh, can't. Just realised can't do that in the staging. But normally you would click on the eye to get an example of what it would look like, the conversations. But in this instance, we're just going to hit create. Now Juji will go off and do its bits. And you get this option just to go straight in and preview the template without adding any details in, but we're going to customize, and you can customize manually or use AI to help. Obviously, we're going to use AI. Why wouldn't we? So we're going to put in here, it's already there because I've been testing it. So it's asking us to give it something to start with, and we're going to have the program 9 software development program. And then you'll see the big green button has become available that says generate sample chat. So just give that a click. If you've got any questions, do ask them in the comments. And it'll whiz away for a few seconds. There you go. So you can see there it's giving me a bit of dialogue. Let me zoom in again so you can see it. There you go. So the Juji chatbot says, "Hi Miri, I'm Juji chatbot, your AI onboarding assistant. Welcome to the software development program." That was a bit of information we gave earlier. It's great to have you here. Mary obviously responds, and then Juji, "It's my pleasure. Could you tell me a bit about yourself?" So you get an idea of what's involved in that conversation. If you wanted to, we could just skip it by hitting the never mind button, but obviously in this case, we're doing a demo, so we're going to apply to my chatbot. So whilst it's doing that, in fact, it's quick. Sometimes it can be a bit slow in the staging. So let's click into it. So you can see here on these topic cards or topic blocks. Sorry, just saw a cat going my eye line. You can see all the bits are in here. So the welcome message, can you introduce yourself? Why do you sign up? Were you in similar programs? When was the last program? So basically you've got this kind of basic template. And the great thing about it is because we gave that program name, it adds the program name into the template, which is fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Q&A board. So top middle, And then you'll see there's a button here, which is called Generate Q&A from Web Pages. If we click that, we get the option to auto-generate Q&As from one or more web pages. Enter URLs below, one URL per line. So if we know the URL for where the PDF's hosted, which we do, obviously, we'll take that, we'll paste it in there. You'll see immediately the auto-generate button became available. And you'll notice here it says a number of Q&As to be generated. This value determines how many Q&As will be generated from each URL you entered. The maximum is 30. So, you know, maximum 30, minimum 1. But you'd never do 1. We're going to leave it at the default in the middle, 15, and click auto generate. Now it'll go off and do its process. And whilst it's doing that, I'll show you the PDF that we're actually working to. So this is the Western Governors University Computer Science Program Guide. It's a total of 20 pages. And it's got a massive information on here. Understanding the competency-based approach, accreditation, the degree plan, how you will interact with faculty, connect with other mentors and fellow students. It's even got some tables in here, so you can see the standard path for Bachelor of Science, Computer Science. It's got changes to the curriculum. It's got some bullet points and massive information. And let's be honest, in the past, if I was creating a chatbot for Western Governors University, I would ask them to give me a list of their Q&As. They'll normally be on the website anyway, but if they've got a very busy call center, they may have some Q&As that the contact center staff are using. And you would compile all those and you would create the FAQs. A lot of that can be poor quality, and don't forget you're taking kind of third-person FAQs, and you have to make them into first-person FAQs for a chatbot. So yeah, you have to take all that information, but also you might get resources like this, and you might have to manually go through this, or someone within the team manually go through this and generate FAQs. So if you've got 20-page PDF, let's take off the first and last, so 8 pages of text, there might be 70 FAQs in there, and you would manually have to go through it and create them. How long would that take? Personally, to go through that, find the FAQs, create them and test them. I always work on kind of 6 to 10 a day. So potentially it's a week's work just to go for that one document. Quite a lot of work. So a lot of information. Let's go back to Juji. Juji is still generating at the moment. It's normally a little bit quicker. There you go. How perfect did I time that? So what we've done is we've used Juji and generative AI to interrogate that PDF that was hosted online. So we can close that now because it tells us it's finished. And you can see that all these Q&As have gone in there. And if we have a look, if you remember, we set it as a default of 15. So 15 Q&As have been created. Fantastic. And what we can do then is, if we wanted to, we can go in and edit these. So this is your team. Really, I would say that the kind of your contact center team, the people that are dealing with student onboarding, will go through these, check them, make sure that it's good quality. They can delete them if they want to. They can manually add new ones. If they don't want to add all 15, you can just select the ones you want to add. But in this case, we're just going to select all and we're going to hit submit. So that's 15 quick Q&As, FAQs, whatever you want to call them, that have been created. Close that down. You'll notice it actually said 21 on there because there were some default ones within the template. But it has created an additional 15, which is fantastic. But like we said before, that document 15 there's probably 70 or 80 available in there, if not more. But it's generated as 15 because that's what we asked for. But Juji auto processes. So remember you saw the table? Juji will auto process that table to answer hard questions because they might not have been pre-trained due to context sensitivity. So when we did this generate Q&A from web pages, it would have skipped that table, but it can do that now. So if we go into preview, If you've not used Juji before, be aware you can sign up for a free account and you can play with all of the features. You get everything, all the generative AI, all the Q&A features, everything out of the box. You don't pay for the product until you deploy it. So Juji's asking me to say a bit about myself because that's part of the general template for student onboarding. But we're going to interrupt that and we're going to ask what courses... It's harder to type when you know people are watching. If you've asked a question, I will get to you soon. And we're going to ask the question, let me zoom in so you can see it well. What courses will I take in term 1 of that computer software development program? I've tested this several times and it's worked every time. We'll see if it does the same when I'm online. So the first thing we do is get a bit of a disclaimer because it's used it's using generative AI basically. So, and then it comes back with, let me zoom in so you can see. In term 1, you'll take the following courses: IT fundamentals, applied probability and statistics, network security foundations, and scripting and programming foundations. So page 6. So if we now go back, let me just zoom out there. If we go now to that PDF and find page 6, oh, there you go. And it was term 1. We can see there they are. Introduction to ID, applied probability and statistics, network and security foundations, scripting and programming foundations. It picked it out perfectly. Oh, stop it, Jim. Being heavy-handed. If that isn't amazing, I don't know what is. How much time would that save you? Okay, so let's ask another in-context question. You'll notice here that Juji has tried to get back onto the conversation that it was having previously before I interrupted it. But you know what? Let's challenge it. We're going to interrupt it again. And we're going to say, what about term 2? So, interestingly, if you were asking a typical FAQ bot and you said, what about term 2? There's a good chance it would not understand your intent. It wouldn't understand the context. Let's try that out. What's this going? We just check. Okay, so we get the disclaimer again. And then it says the courses taken in term 2 of the Bachelor of Science Computer Science program include data management foundations, web development foundations, calculus 1, and scripting and programming. And this can be found on page 6 of the PDF. So let's have a look again. And it was term 2, and there they are. Data management foundations, web development foundations, calculus 1, scripting and programming applications. Again, found it perfectly. That's exactly what we're after. Click more. Again, you can see Juji's trying to get back to the original conversation, doing it beautifully, not falling over. So let's try another question. What's the standard path for me to complete the program? Normally when you're testing something like that, you would just type it, but because this is in the staging and it's a very new feature, didn't even type the message, did we? Let's try again. What the standard path for me to complete the program? Question mark. Yeah, normally you would just ask any question, but because this is in staging, it's a very new feature. And obviously I'm doing a demonstration, so I want it to go right every single time. So we ask the question. So we'll just get that little disclaimer. And there we go. The standard path for completing the Bachelor of Science Computer Science program is laid out in the degree plan, which includes the courses, learning resources, and assessments needed to earn a degree. The amount of time it takes to complete a program depends on an individual's strengths and development needs. And it says all that detail actually is in the guide, the PDF, page 2. So let's go to the guide and we go to page 2. So it'll be somewhere in there, basically. There you go. So it's not done it word for word, but what it's done is it's kind of made a succinct version of what it says within the PDF. Absolutely fantastic. And let's get a final question. Let me just zoom back out there. We'll go back in. Again, Juji tries to get me back onto the path. We're going to ask the question, how long will it take to finish a standard path? Send the message. Move past the disclaimer. The amount of time it takes to complete the Bachelor of Science Computer Science program at Western Governors University depends on the amount of new information a student needs to learn and the amount of time they plan to devote each week to study. There is no set timeline, but students can expect to spend 30 to 40 hours on each course. And that will be on page 2 of that PDF. Now, if you're not impressed with that, I don't know what to say. What it did is it was able to interrogate the PDF, create the 15, what I would call standard Q&As, FAQs, and we saw those and we added them to the database. So they're the standard ones. But what it's also able to do is then if we ask further questions within the bot that aren't within those 15 standard, it's again able to generate answers based on the PDF. Now that is phenomenal. If you're new to working with chatbots and conversational AI, you just don't see that anywhere. This is really, really clever stuff from Juji. Okay, let me just flick back and go back to myself so you get a nice view and see if there's any questions. No questions at this time. I know a lot of people will watch this on replay. It's going out live on LinkedIn now, and it's also going to go out live on YouTube. And I'll also publish it later to the Juji YouTube. So if you've got any questions, reach out to me. You can ask the question here or find me on LinkedIn and ask the question. Thanks for getting involved. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks for the next one. Take care.